for Mildred Ellie faculty and is intended to give you an overview of Microsoft Teams, how to set up a class, invite your students in, and then set up your meetings. I'm also going to provide you with some tips for running your Teams meetings for your live classes. I know when we spoke at the faculty meeting a week or two ago, I had said that there are multiple video conferencing applications available, and that while my preference was that you use Teams, that it would be far better for the students, that it would be okay if you used another one. Since that time, there have been numerous news reports of security issues with some video conferencing applications. At this point, that has not been a concern with Teams. And our students already have access to Teams. It's part of what Mildred Ellie provides to them with their school email address and access to Office 365. So for all of these reasons, I am asking that you please use Microsoft Teams as your video conferencing application for your live sessions for your classes. The department chairs and I have been discussing this for the last week or so, and we've all decided that this is the route that we are going to go. So please make sure you are using Microsoft Teams for your classes. So the first thing I want to do is actually set up a class, invite the students in, and then talk about some options that you have there. So you can see I already have, 50. I don't know how many I have teams existing here. But what we're going to do is go to the upper right to join or create a team. So we're going to create our team. And because this is a classroom we're talking about, we're going to make a class. So we're going to make this sample class for demonstration, which is pretty self-explanatory. My suggestion is that for your class name, you put the course code and section. It would possibly also make sense to add your last name so that the students were sure that this was where they were supposed to be. So we're going to go next and create our team. And I am going to add some students who are going to be just amazed that they're students, but you don't have to add between each one. Okay, so type out your entire list and then you can add. Now it says distribution list, so let's just see what happens if we do a distribution list. So I have Albany Academic Support. There you go. So I can actually add that group. Now, if you already have a group set up for your class, then you can just go ahead and add the group straight on and not worry about typing out all the names again. So I'm going to add Aurelia, Jenny, and Brenda as my students. And once I've done that, you see the names all listed down here. If you see a name you did not intend to add, go ahead and delete them at this point. So before you close and finalize your roster, make sure that this matches a fresh roster from Sonus. Because we do add drop the first 2 weeks of the term, you are going to have to adjust and modify this team roster daily for that first couple of weeks. So you want to just consistently be comparing what you have put into your team's roster to what's in Sonus. All right, so we're going to create this group. So there we have our team all set up. You'll see up at the top that there's options to actually make this a full classroom. We're not doing that. We have Moodle in place for that. So for now, we're only going to use this as a location for our live class meeting times. So with that said, now we want to create our meeting times. You can do that one of two ways. You can go to the calendar and create it directly from your calendar in Teams, or you can click on the video icon underneath your chat menu and you can create it from there. If you go to your calendar app, you'll select New Meeting. If you do it from Teams, you'll select the video app and then you'll select Schedule a Meeting. So in this case, you've done the schedule of meeting right out of your team. So it's already got your channel set up as the general channel, from our team. So we're going to create our live class sessions. Because you have your team added, you don't have to add attendees. Everybody in the team is going to get the notification of the meeting. If there's someone else you would like to invite into the meeting, a guest or another faculty member or something like that, you can type their address in here. Schedule your class. So classes start on Monday, so we'll go with Monday. And we'll say it's a morning class. So obviously it's not that early. Okay, we'll go with 9 o'clock. And we'll allow through 12. Class time would go 9 through 12. Your class on Teams may not go that long, but we'll allow for it so that the students can be prepared. They know that's what their SONIS schedule is, so they're prepared for it here. So, type details for your new meeting. What are we going to do? Are we going to lecture? Lecture. Are we going to do group work? Is there going to be a class project? There's all manner of things you might decide to do with that. So we're starting class on Monday, so we're going to say it's a Monday-Wednesday class. So under the repeat menu, we're going to do a custom, and we're going to do it repeats every week on Mondays and Wednesdays. And we want it to have an end date. So week 8 is the week of the 25th. So we're going to give it an end date of the 30th. So it will occur every Monday and Wednesday from April 6th until May 30th. So we're going to save our meetings. And now we're going to send our updates. So what we see here is our description of what the class will be, and the class session and when it's going to meet. In order for your students to join your class section, they should go to your team, click on the class session, and select the join icon in the upper right hand side of the team, of the calendar announcement. So we've now set up the class, we've invited the students in, and we've set up meetings. So the next thing I want to show you, let's say this class is a writing class, and you want to divide the group up into smaller groups. So if you click on the 3 dots here, we can actually add a channel. So if we add a channel, we can say we want group 1, and we want only a particular set of people within our group to have access to that. So it's going to add the channel, and you're going to search for your students. So let's say we're going to add 2 of our students into this group. You can also add specific teachers into this group. If you have a class where you have multiple teachers or somebody helping you out, possibly a clinical class actually, this would be real useful for. You can add additional teachers into this class. So we're going to add our class members. Again, if you clicked someone you didn't intend to, you can delete them at this point. And now we're going to say done. So we now have our general group, which is where our classes are going to be, and you see them scheduled here. And then you have our individual group that's going to work on a particular project together, and they are in a subgroup underneath there. So hopefully that helps if that's something you're interested in. The next thing I want to talk about is really just some more general information and tips that might help you as you start your classes next week. And one of the first things I want to just show you that you should do is actually to set up all of your participants as attendees. I actually should have left that open to show you that. So sample class for demonstration, there we go. So we're going to view our meeting details here, and then you can see your class times, all that's in there. You can edit that through, so that's great. Actually not where I wanted to go, so that's okay. But you can actually set your meetings so that you've got everybody that's coming into the meeting set as an attendee. That may be a little different for a class, but just so you're aware that that is something you can edit. The other thing I want to show you is we're in the general team. If you look up at where the 3 dots are, you can set the notifications, you can manage your channel, get an email address so that messages can come into the channel. You can also get a link to the channel, so you can send this link out to your students to make sure they have it. All right? When you are doing your class, make sure you speak slowly and clearly. Ask your participants to mute themselves. And if you have a large group, you're also going to want to ask them to turn their video off. For a smaller group, you can probably get away with everyone keeping their video on. For a course where you're doing presentations in class, you would want to ask them to stay muted with their video off until it's their turn to do their presentation. At that point, they would want to turn their video on along with their microphone. There is a chat option in the sidebar. So if we actually go into this meeting, and I'll show you, and I'm going to turn off the camera and off my microphone. It's just a good way to go into a meeting. Join it now. And once I'm in, obviously there's nobody else here. However, if I can show participants, actually this is not where I was going, but I'll go here first. If I'm the only one here and I think somebody else should be here, I can actually click on these buttons here, ask to join, and I can call them in. So if there's somebody that you really expect should be at the meeting and you're just not seeing them, you can ping them in. The thing I wanted to show you is show conversation. You can have a running chat going in the bar on the right-hand side, and students can ask questions. You can keep an eye on that, and you can refer to it and answer those questions as you go through your lecture or whatever else you might be doing. You can share your screen here if you're wanting to show a PowerPoint presentation. You can click here to share your screen, and you can, let me just show you what it does. It will let you either select a particular window that you have open, so if you have your PowerPoint open, you can select that. Your desktop, which is going to show whatever's visible on your computer, and it's the whole thing. So any pop-up messages that come up or anything are going to show at this point. Or you can open the whiteboard. If you open the whiteboard, that allows you to do kind of free drawing. If you're using your tablet to run your class, that could be really useful. All right. So again, chat here and add participants here, share your screen here. Finally, these 3 dots, if you click on those, there are a number of options here. I understand other people have more options than I do, I think my computer might be a little bit too old, but that's okay. So what you can do here, though, that's very useful is record your lectures. Make sure you let the class know that you are recording, but it's a really useful thing to have that you can refer them back to and let them use as review. So I would recommend that you record your lectures as well. And that is all I have to show you right now. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if there's anything you run up against as you start your classes, let me know that as well. Looking forward to having a great mod, and hope everything works out well for you. Let me know if I can help. Thanks.